question we answer on a daily basis from handgun shoppers is, what is the least expensive full metal blowback gun that we offer? Now, I have to warn you that if price is the biggest criteria in shopping for a handgun, you're probably going to be somewhat let down as to what's available for you, because you're either going to be giving up something in the way of features or something in the way of quality in order to get that lower price. Now, I found that the average price that you need to be willing to spend to get a decent airsoft gun is around $150. Anything below that, you're either going to end up with something that breaks down a lot, or something that has a lot of malfunctions, or worse yet, you end up with a gun that gets discontinued after a few months and you're just not able to get any kind of parts for it. Which really bothers me more than anything, is to sell a person a gun for over $100 and then find out later on that I can't fix it for them when the thing eventually breaks down. Now, recently we found a gun that somewhat bridges that gap between the lower priced guns and the higher priced guns with all the features, and that's the gun we're going to be talking about today, which is the G&G Xtreme 45. One of the first things you're going to notice when you first pick up this gun is that it's fairly heavy for an airsoft gun. This weighs a little under 2 pounds, which is pretty close to the actual weight of an unloaded M1911 pistol. The other thing you're going to notice is that it is full metal. You're not sacrificing metal for plastic parts in order to make the gun more affordable. One of the things I really like about this gun is that they give you a lot of custom features right out of the box. First of all, it has the high-rise sights that are adjustable for both windage and elevation on the rear sight. Also, you'll notice on the slide on the front as well as the rear has knurling on it, so you get a good positive grip for cocking the gun. You'll also notice that it does have the Picatinny rail on the lower frame, so it's very easy to add additional accessories. So if you want to add a laser or a flashlight, it just simply slides right on. When you look at the port side of the gun, you'll notice that it has the extended thumb safety, so it's very easy to bring this gun online. You're also going to notice that it has a ton of checkering on the gun, both on the front strap as well as the main spring housing and the mag release button all have checkering on it, which gives you a very positive grip on this particular gun. Now, this is a full blowback gun, so it does have a fully functioning slide on it, as well as a functioning mag catch, which you can lock the slide back in its rearward position. Now, this does not lock back automatically when you fired your last shot. You can just simply lock it back more for aesthetic purposes than for anything. One really nice feature that G&G gives you is they give you a lanyard loop built into the handle of the gun. So for you guys that like to shoot in those high stress situations and you don't want to worry about losing your gun, you can actually attach a lanyard to it so you can retain it even if you drop the gun. One thing you're probably going to notice as being fairly unusual is when you go to eject the magazine from the gun, you're actually going to hear some gas escaping. The thing is, on most airsoft guns, the gas valve is actually built into the top of the magazine, where on the G&G, that part of the magazine is actually cut out, so the gas valve is actually built into the top part of the gun. So when you go to put your magazine in, you're going to want to give it a good positive bump to get it in there so that you seat the gas valve and get a good clean seal on it. The magazine for the gun is a single stack configuration that holds 16 rounds. The nice thing about the single stack mags is that they give you a nice slim profile, so you guys that like the traditional 1911s or that just have smaller hands are going to have an easier time grabbing this gun. In order to bring the gun online, you just simply cock the slide on the first shot, and then it's semi-automatic after that. One thing that's fairly unique about the G&G is the way that the CO2 cartridge is held into the magazine. On most other CO2 guns, it requires either an Allen wrench in order to screw it in or out, or it has a thumb screw in order to loosen it or to tighten the cartridge. On the G&G, it just simply pops out just with finger pressure, since the lower part that holds the CO2 cartridge actually is on a swivel. So in order to put the cartridge in, you just simply drop it into the gun and then just snap it into place. Now, we tested the gun on the chronograph with a fresh CO2 cartridge and 0.2 gram BBs and found it to have an average velocity of around 375 feet per second, which is pretty much on par for what you would expect for a CO2 blowback gun. Now, as far as that blowback feature goes, you may notice that the slide does not move as far back as other blowback guns. It only moves as far back as it needs to in order to cock the hammer back, so it's a fairly short stroke piston on it, which is nice because it needs less gas in order to operate, so it's more efficient. But even though that slide doesn't move as far back, it still gives you a fairly substantial amount of recoil as well as a fairly loud report. So you guys that like the realism of having a blowback gun are probably going to appreciate those features with the G&G. Now, one of the things that I really like about the gun that I mentioned earlier is that this is a CO2 gun versus a green gas gun. And especially for us guys that are up here in the Northeast, the winters get awfully cold, so you guys with the green gas guns are going to notice a significant drop in the performance of your gun, where CO2 tends to be more consistent regardless of the temperature. But probably one of the best things to mention about the Xtreme 45 is that this is made by G&G. So you have the added assurance that if anything goes wrong with the gun, you'll be able to get replacement parts for it or extra magazines or whatever, and be able to keep this gun online for a long time to come. If you have any more questions, feel free to check out our website at replayairsoft.com, or best bet, stop in here at the showroom. We'll let you try it out for yourself, and you'll see exactly why this is a great buy for an under $150 gun that gives you a lot of features that you normally have to pay a lot more for. So until then, we'll see you the next time.